I want to give you my initial review of the SpaceX Starlink Internet portable satellite service. It's definitely high speed, and so far I've been very happy with it. I've been using it for about 30 days. I wanted to wait until I got 10 speed tests, performance tests completed on it before I made this video, just to see what my average metrics are going to be. What I have is a 200 megabit per month plan, and it looks like I'm getting 200 megabits down and averaging about 17 up, and I'll show you. So the reason that I was looking into this satellite internet service was I live in the Southwest, and the town that I live in is about 15 years behind the rest of the country when it comes to internet infrastructure. Okay, so what I've had to do is go through a company called Windstream. I've had to have two DSL circuits bonded together just to get 50 megabit plans set up per month. And the price that they charge for that really crappy service and really crappy speeds is $137 and some change every month. So I needed to look into something that was going to be less expensive and something that would give me better speed and better performance. And this Starlink Internet portable satellite has done that. And you can see the picture here. I bought the standard kit, the Starlink Internet kit, which comes with the satellite, comes with the cable, it comes with a little kickstand, like a little tripod stand for it, and it comes with the router, the wireless router. So, and it comes with a phone app, everything. It was easy to set up. It's really cool that it shows you exactly how you need to point your antenna, not only, the direction, but also the angle to get the absolute best signal. It's really easy to do. I mean, it's really kind of a no-brainer setting this up. It's about as simple as it gets. All right, so I wanted to show you some of the metrics that I've recorded on this, and I tried to randomize it a little bit. There's a different metric for every day for a 10-day period, and I tried to randomize it, doing it in the morning, doing it in the afternoon, doing it in the evening. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, and I used Cloudflare for my speed test. I compared it with 3 or 4 other services. The speeds that they were showing were right on par with 2 or 3 other services that I tested out. But what I liked about this one is it also showed packet loss of UDP packets. Okay, so I wanted to get an idea of the stability of the link as well as the speed. So as you can see on my first test, there's 214 megabit down, 21.2 megabit upstream. The latency is a little misleading. The latency is actually a lot less than this. It's about a third of that. I'm usually down in the low 20s as far as latency, but this is the latency from their server back to me. Okay, so their server looks like it's a little bit slow to respond. But a 0 packet loss on this, and I conducted this test at 11:40 in the AM. It says video streaming is great, online gaming is great, and video chat is great. So I'm actually getting lower latency with this satellite internet than I was with my wired DSL, which kind of gives you an idea of just how bad the copper is where I live. And I live in the middle of a town. I don't live out in the country. I don't live on the outskirts of town. I live right in the middle of town, and the infrastructure is that bad here. So, all right, so the next test was 207 megabit down, 20.3 up, 0.7% packet loss. Now, these are not TCP packets, they're UDP. So, like for video streaming. So if it misses a packet, it just goes on. It doesn't retransmit the packet. So it doesn't really affect the speed of the connection. So I wanted to let you know that. That's what this is UDP packet loss. Okay, this was at 7:09 in the PM. And it says video streaming great, online gaming great, video chatting is great for this one as well. All right, now this is, I think, day 3. 211 megabit down, 19.1 megabit up, 0.1% packet loss. This was at 7:56 a.m., almost 8 a.m. Again, great all the way across for video streaming, online gaming, and video chat. All right, the next test is 204 megabit down, 13.1 megabit upstream, 7:44 in the PM. Everything is great across the board again. 202 megabit down, 13.3 megabit up, 0.5% packet loss, 7:18 the PM. Great on video streaming, great on online gaming and video chat. It says good. So I don't know exactly why it's changed from great to good, except that if you notice that the jitter here, the jitter is a little bit higher. This is like your variation on your packets. A little bit higher than it was on the previous ones, which may be why it dropped that down to good instead of great. 134, okay, this was the lowest speed that I got out of the 10 days that I tested this. 134 down, 18.3 up, 0.9% packet loss. I think it was also the highest packet loss that I had. So I don't know if something was getting updated on that day that I tested it, but this was the lowest metric that I had. Video streaming is great, online gaming is great, and video chat is good again. All right. So the next test is 212 megabit down, 21 megabit up, 0.4%. This is at 4:53 p.m., so late afternoon, early evening, great all the way across the board again. 208 megabit down, 13.4 megabit upstream, 0.3% packet loss. This was at 8:59:08 a.m. or about 9 o'clock in the a.m. Great all the way across the board. 203 down, 18.5 up, 0% packet loss. This was at 10:15 in the a.m. Great all the way across again. All right, and then my second slowest test for downstream was 188 megabit down, 15.1 up, 0% packet loss, 7:45 in the PM, and it says video streaming good, online gaming average, video chatting average. Again, I think the jitter is a little bit higher than what is average, and of course the downstream was a little bit slower. So that's the only reason that I could see for it dropping online gaming and video chatting both down to average rather than from good or great. All right, and here are my performance metrics for the 10 days that I tested it. You can see that I'm paying for 200 megabit downstream service per month, and my average is 198.3. So I'm definitely getting what I'm paying for. My upload speed was 17.3 on average. The latency is 58.5, and the packet losses on UDP packets is just 0.3%. So I think that looks really good all the way across the board. Like I said, much better. The speeds downstream, upstream, the latency is much more consistent and much higher than what I was getting with my two bonded DSL circuits. Now, to give you an idea, on my two bonded DSL circuits through Windstream that they were charging me almost $140 a month for. Okay, on a good day, I will get around 40 megabits downstream, and I'll get about 7 or 8 upstream. Typically, what I get is about 35 to 36 megabit downstream and about 6 megabit upstream. So if you look at my average here, I mean, I'm getting 5 times faster download speed and almost 3 times faster upload speed than what I was getting with a wired DSL connection where I live. So right now, this is the best option that I have. I was really surprised that the satellite connection is this stable and that the speeds are this consistent. And I can tell you that doing everything on the internet the past 30 days with this Starlink internet compared to my Windstream DSL, everything feels faster. The web pages load faster. Everything loads faster than it was with their DSL service. So I'm really happy about that. And not only that, but the cost of the Starlink, I ordered the standard Starlink kit with the wall mount that you can see right here in the background picture, plus tax. Rounded up to the nearest dollar, cost me $452. I bought everything rather than renting it, okay? I bought it. The cost of the Starlink internet per month at 200 megabit down, My average upstream is 17 megabit. That's a flat rate, including taxes, $80 a month. Okay, comparing that to my cost of Windstream internet per month, which was $138, rounded up to the nearest whole dollar, for a 50 megabit plan, where on the best day I was getting 40 megabit down and typically 6 megabit up. Like I said, I'm getting 5 times the speed down, almost 3 times the speed up, and my monthly savings is $58 a month. It cost me $58 less per month for the Starlink service with much, much faster, much more consistent speeds than it was costing me with the 2 bonded DSL circuits. Okay, so with the equipment cost, including tax, of $452 per month divided by my savings of $58 per month gives me a return on investment of 7.8 months. So after 7.8 months of using the Starlink system, I will have recouped the cost of my equipment, including the kit, the wall mount, and the taxes that I paid for it. At the end of 1 year, for 12 months of savings at $58, after paying off the equivalent, it's still going to save me $244 in the first year. And then the second year, where the equipment's completely paid off, $58 a month times 12 months, $696 in savings for the year, almost $700 cheaper for me with this service than with the 2 bonded DSL circuits. I know it's hard to believe. I've tried wireless internet here. I've tried bonding 2 DSL circuits together. This was my last option. I'm really happy that this actually is working out. All right, so I will have, if you're in the same boat that I'm in, I will have links to the Starlink standard kit and the official wall mount for the latest kit version in the pinned comment below the video frame. So look for that. I will try to remember, I'll try to put it on my calendar and remember to revisit this after 1 year of use. So I've used it during the rain, I've used it during the snow, so I can give you a complete evaluation in all different kinds of weather. Okay, it's always windy here, so the wall mount that I've got with the satellite antenna on it, it's pretty stable and it's pretty sturdy. It's not going to move around in a considerable amount of wind, but we will see how it works in the rainy season and the monsoon season, and in the wintertime when it snows. And then I'll try to remember next spring to update you on my evaluation. But so far, it's absolutely fantastic. All right, that's a wrap on this episode. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.